Welcome to Small Business Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
All right. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays here. My name's Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me right there at oursuccessgroup.com. So good morning to all. Let's see here. We've got lots of people checking in this morning. We've got Jerry, good morning, and Wade, good morning, and Casey, beautiful day here in Aurora, Indiana. Wonderful. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a gorgeous one here in St. Louis, Missouri, too. I've got some nice sunlight coming in on me this morning. And good morning, Todd. And good morning to Cheryl. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Sun's out in Ohio. Wonderful. Cool. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we've got everybody's looking for a good day. Hopefully a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, a chance to kind of see if we can get some normalcy happening here is what I'm hoping for everybody. So yeah, so excited to talk to you here this morning. We're going to talk about turning weaknesses into strengths. And I've messed up several times when I was talking to my wife about this. I keep saying turning strengths into weaknesses, but no. So if I say that, that's just an error. We're going to be talking about turning weaknesses into strengths. And I've got a very special guest here. And let's see if she is ready to join me here this morning. Let me click a button, and here we go. Valerie, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, we're not. There we go. Okay, cool. Got some sound. We got everything going. Yep, okay. Perfect. Thank you for joining me this early this morning. I know in Idaho there, it's even earlier than it is here in St. Louis. So first question for you, did you pull the all-nighter?
I did not pull the all-nighter.
Okay, good. I was a little worried that I was going to make you stay up all night. So.
No, I pulled the can't sleep because I think I'm going to oversleep. So.
Yeah. Well, yes, definitely. I had several alarms set this morning myself because was at the neighbor's house last night enjoying a 6 foot away beverage with people. So it was a nice night. But all right, cool, Valerie. Well, let's dive into this because I want to get everybody off to the gorgeous weekend that we've got in front of us. Weather report from you, Valerie. Is it going to be nice there?
It's supposed to be. It has been terrible for this week, and then this weekend is supposed to be actually nice. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, let's start off here, Valerie, with talking about just kind of where this topic came up. So this all kind of started on Wednesday night as we were going through OSG training, and we were talking about some things about working through some strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in our business. And obviously, when we're talking about weaknesses, you and I were able to kind of connect on the fact that, yes, weaknesses are there and it's okay to have those. But a lot of times we look at our weaknesses and we just see them for a weakness. But there are a lot of times also things that come out of that you don't realize are actually maybe a little bit of a strength. So tell me about your what that moment was for you on Wednesday night.
So I was working through the paperwork that we got with the OSG, the SWOT, and it was having you list your weaknesses. And when I did that, it also had a sentence, I'm going to read it, that was, for your weakness, write how that could be a strength for your customer. And then I kind of had an aha moment that even though I'm not actively working on something, I'm usually thinking about it in the back of my head, like, if I'm not working on it, it's usually something that intimidates me somewhat, like I haven't done it yet. And so I will procrastinate to the end about putting it off. But at the same time, I'm thinking about how I need to execute it to not have the spoilage issue or whatever could come with that.
Sure. So. I love that. I think that's a fantastic thought because actually what I've discovered is a lot of times successful people, it's not that they get things done early, so you got that procrastination. It's that they get it done right on time. So like you said, a lot of times the early, let's just dive into it is actually can be a detriment because, like you said, you're going to ruin something. You're going to not know all the details. You're going to, make an early move to, again, get yourself in a spot where, like, if you just waited, you would have been okay.
Yeah, and I feel like I work better under pressure, which is horrible because I wish I wasn't a procrastinator. But at the same time, I feel like I don't ruin as many things or whatever because I have no spare time. This has to happen, and it has to happen like this. And so I've kind of troubleshooted everything in my head that possibly could go wrong. So then you just have to do it.
Yeah. That's such a cool. I mean, I know, like you said, it doesn't always feel the best when you're always under the gun, and I imagine for stress that doesn't help a whole lot. But at the same time, if you can own that part of yourself, which it seems like you're doing, that's really cool to be able to do that. So, and I had a similar situation myself where, as people that know me and watch me do this and all this kind of stuff, you throw a shiny object in front of me and I am chasing that thing like no, but and I honestly maybe probably jump a little too early. It's like, oh, shiny object, let's try that, let's do that. And then I'm like, oh crap, well, I just wasted, I had an old printer sitting here that I dumped a whole bunch of money and ink in and realized, if I would have just waited a little bit longer and not done that, I would have saved myself quite a bit of money. So
yeah.
So, all right. Well, we've kind of already talked a little bit about the process that you're going through, but maybe help us out a little bit more. What besides kind of filling that stuff out, what was that process that you went through as you were kind of trying to figure out the strengths and weaknesses?
So I think it's just being honest with yourself. Like, it drives me crazy that I'm a procrastinator. Mm-hmm. And I have always told my kids, that's one thing I don't want to pass on to them.
Sure.
But here we are, like, I have two very good procrastinators. So my husband is annoyed with all of us. But at the same time, then I was like, why am I fighting this? I know I'm going to wait till the last minute. I know that's how I am. But sure. I also know that when I try to do it the other way, I have more problems. So sure. It's kind of just like I'm going against the grain, trying to break this, what I thought was a horrible habit. But in the end, it's not as bad as, and my other weakness that I had written down with that came out really strong was I feel like sometimes I'm very inexperienced with different kind of jobs. Okay. Like I've only ran the embroidery machine for a little over a year, so I'm intimidated as not being as experienced as other embroiderers.
Sure.
At the same time, I'm willing to take on certain jobs that I know experienced people won't, because I don't know what could go wrong. I don't have the experience to have done that and have the mess that came from, oh, you shouldn't touch that, to like, well, I guess we'll just see what happens. So
yeah. No, that's really, I love that also, that thought as well, because, there's actually a really good story. I'm trying to remember what book I read that in. It'll come to me here, but so you're basically, you don't know what you don't know. And so yes. you're taking on things that maybe, like you said, somebody that has had a little bit more experience might go, I just don't want to do that. But you can pull it off. And so this story that goes, basically there was a kid that was a graduate student in some math program at a pretty prestigious school. And he came in late to a class, and the instructor had put on the board this, like, what the instructor thought was this unsolvable equation as kind of like you guys can't do this kind of thing. But this kid had come in late, and so he didn't realize that this was not something that wasn't just an assignment. So he took this equation as an assignment, and a month later had solved it. And this was like this thing that was so unsolvable. But really what happened for him is he just kind of put his brain to work on it. And because he didn't realize that it was quote unquote unsolvable, he was able to solve it. And Todd says Goodwill Hunting, but I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's probably a similar storyline and maybe where that came from. But yeah, this was in a book that I read this. I'll come up with it. But
Yeah.
so those
Well,
things are really important. Go ahead, Billy.
I had a school that asked me, they ordered a bunch of Nike track suits and they wanted them embroidered. And I tried so hard to talk them out of it because everybody I talked to that was an experienced embroiderer said, don't touch those. That's horrible material. Take it back. And I tried really hard with the superintendent and she pushed me and she's like, well, this is what I want. So this is how you're going to have to do it. And so I went to Joann's, I got test fabric that was exactly the same and I sewed it and I hated it. And I took her in the example and I was like, this is going to be the finished product. And she kept saying, it's fine, just do it. And I ran 60 track coats. I ruined 0 and none of them puckered. Nothing bad happened. And so the whole time I was angry that she was dictating how I was running my business. But at the same time later, I was like, but that totally worked because I didn't overthink it. Like the people who have embroidered more knew what could go wrong. And I was like, well, I guess we're just going to see. And it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. So. That's awesome. Again, it's that, you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't have that preconceived expectation of failure, then, I mean, I know you, in this case, you kind of were. I think there we go. My internet gone. Okay.
This cannot happen.
the Valerie show. It's all right, Valerie. Well, this has been good. You take it over from here. I'll catch you in about. No, that's not gonna happen. Okay.
On the alcohol if I'm taking over. Yeah.
All right. Well, good. That's cool. So two wonderful situations where a weakness became a strength just by, I think a couple things. It seems like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but basically not overthinking it. Getting to that point where you weren't overthinking it, but then, kind of taking a different mindset at it and kind of saying, okay, well, it's a weakness, quote unquote, but why?
Yeah. And like with the embroidery job, I finally was just like, well, I've warned her and I've told her this is probably not going to turn out the way you want it, but and she was adamant and I was not happy. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, here you go. You've been informed. This is what could happen. And at the end of it, it worked. So I was like, maybe it's not as scary as everybody said.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Well, sure. And if you can own that and kind of build that into your business, that you are willing to work with your customers. I mean, you did all the right things. You showed her with the test and, you gave her the information and you educated her. And if they still want to go forward with that, then why not? It's,
it's
your money still works. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's your money. Here's what you're going to get. But, that's great that it turned out wonderful. So, okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about some other examples. I wanted to kind of share one of the places where this came from for me, just so you guys kind of know a little bit of background. I've always talked about SWOT as a tool that I love, and you guys have probably heard that lots of times before, but, when you talk about the weaknesses and the threats, I normally do get a lot. In fact, gave myself a lot of pushback on, we're going to the negative. We're going on the dark side here, so to speak. And so there was a lady. Her book is called. She's got several books. Her name's Debbie Ford, and she's kind of one of those self-help, motivational type people that runs in all the same circles with Jack Canfield and all the other people that I follow there. But she's got her first book was called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. And it is an interesting kind of take on this whole thing where she's talking about owning those things that, typically would be weaknesses and what that can do for you. So her story kind of goes where she, and pardon the language, but she said, her big weakness was that she was a bitch. and she's really open about it. In fact, I think she's been on Oprah talking about it. And so, but she had that same thought where, that's a weakness. I need to improve. I need to, work really hard on making that go away kind of thing. And she said the moment she was able to kind of, somebody helped her, there's a story that goes along with it. But the moment she was able to go, you know what? It's not that that's a weakness. It's just kind of part of me.
Sure.
And, her example was, what if you're, doing a house renovation and the contractors are 3 weeks late and way over budget? Wouldn't being a little bit of a bitch kind of help you out in that situation? And so I'll post the book up here in the chat for people to look at. But have you, I don't know when this started for you exactly, Valerie, if this is, something that kind of really started for you on Wednesday, or if this is something that you've kind of been thinking about for a little bit longer, but have you found other things where maybe at one point you're kind of going, man, I got to fight against this, to when you all of a sudden started kind of going, you know what, maybe that's just more of my nature, and how can I use this to my advantage? Has there been times like that?
So I'm an overanalyzer / procrastinator. I think they go together.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm procrastinating about overanalyzing every possibility. But even just recently with the face masks, everybody jumped on the face mask bandwagon. And I was like, I'm going to sit back. I don't want to hop on this yet. And not that I don't take what's going on serious. I just feel like it seemed really risky when you have to order such quantities. So I totally procrastinated on that. And now you see the downfall that's happening with some people who had to put in a lot of money to get those. And so, sometimes it's not always so bad.
Sure.
Yeah. And I feel like part of that is a lot of people always have their eggs, or all their eggs in a basket, because they're so hell bent on has to happen this way, this, and that, which if you are a procrastinator, you're going to open it however the cards are going to fall, because, well, you got options. So
yeah, exactly. It's kind of like I used to do my Christmas shopping a long time ago. It was like I didn't have to worry about what I was going to get for everybody, because I did my Christmas shopping on the 24th. Yeah, right on the 24th. And so I just got what was left, and it was easy.
Yeah. People that pre-shop usually overanalyze that they didn't get enough. So then they're spending twice as much because they shop again.
Exactly. I love it. See, we can find strengths in everything.
That's right.
Heck, they say, that some of the greatest artists and poets and things like that, they were a lot of times drinking too much or other things like that, so let's find all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't want to get too crazy. So if you guys are listening in right now, if you guys have any questions for us, if you guys have any examples you want to share, Jerry said, being a small business, some see as a weakness, but I see as a huge strength. Valerie, what's your thoughts on that?
I completely agree. Completely. I think that you have a lot more freedom. You can dictate how you want to run your business, but at the same time, you can take on a smaller thing that a bigger company wouldn't, or, and as a small business, you have the more personal feel with your customers versus a large store.
Yeah.
So,
well, I agree with that completely. And I think that in fact, that's why I love being a small business. I love working with small businesses because of that, what you said there with the personal touch that you can give. There's some feeling to it. This stuff matters.
Yeah.
It's a, we have to worry about, the little things and checking all the details and so I think
like I've ordered my kids certain sweatshirts that are, big brand names, and they get them and they're like, this looks like crap. And I'm like, but they don't have to care because you just bought that for the brand. Yeah. You didn't buy it for the quality. You bought it for the brand because of that logo. So
yeah. That is incredible how much of that stuff that you see that's terrible. I mean, I have a closet full of T-shirts with different brands or different things that I got along the way from a volleyball tournament or whatever, and they are printed so badly. It's insane how bad these people are. And again, these are, like you said,
and they're
huge
making
companies.
millions of dollars.
Yeah,
Millions.
for sure. So and if you use that and you think about it from that perspective, because I think another thing that kind of paralyzes some small businesses is the fact that they do have to be so perfect. And, we're going to be our own worst enemies when it comes to that. We're going to judge things more strictly. We're going to be, looking at it from this vantage point. But a customer is going to see that, and if it's something they connect with, that you've given them that personal touch, they're going to go, "Oh my God, this is amazing," because they have no clue how that gets done.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's been stuff that I'm like, I don't, I'll give them an example. Like, I don't know, I don't really love it, but, and they're like, "Oh, it's fantastic." You're like, why am I so hard on myself? Because they're just happy to see their logo or whatever on something where you're like, that is not the best work I've ever done. So
yeah, you got to find that happy medium. Obviously, part of the reason that as a small business, you do have that customer driven, and you take that time, and you kind of put yourself in that spot where it's like, this is not great, is the fact that you do care. And I think that's why people buy from us. But again, at the same time, if you can kind of go, hey, you know what, they're going to love this, there is this, but you've got to find that happy medium between those two things. And so, that leads me to one other thing here, Valerie, is that as we've talked about this, and as we've looked at these different things that maybe are weaknesses, I know for me, once I can kind of put them in the conscious and look at them and again, let myself off the hook a little bit for these things. We talk about you with procrastination. Are you able to like change that and realize that as long as you're consciously thinking about it and maybe not pushing it all the way to the end, but you're letting it percolate along the way, but are you also improving that weakness a little bit at the same time?
I think so. And I've realized too, there's usually two main reasons why I really, really procrastinate on something. Either it's a newer project that intimidates me and I'm not quite sure how to do it, or it's something I don't want to have anything to do at all. Like, I don't want to do that job. So then I realize in the future, like, that's not something I want to spend my time on. I don't want to tie my mind up with that. Not that I'm the most creative or whatever, but there are some things that it just feels like you are fighting that project from the time the customer gave you that order until you get rid of it, and you can't wait to get rid of it because it just doesn't flow right with you. So I've kind of figured out, like, with someone really, really is like, I need you to do this because nobody else will take it on. I don't want anything to do with it. Like, I know it's going to take me 6 months, but it's not really bad. Like, I'm going to dread every moment I'm working on that, which makes me want to push that back even further because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a balancing act and finding that right balance with that. But it's also, it seems like it's also really great learning experience too, because, the next time something like that comes, maybe you become the Nike tracksuit lady. Who knows?
Oh, Lord,
right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just trying.
Yeah, because I don't let customers supply stuff. And that one, she had already ordered them and she's like, I just need you to do this. And I kept saying, oh, no. And I really just wanted to order decal or transfers from Todd just and have it that way. And nope, she wouldn't have it. So like, okay, but you got to sign on the dotted line that I'm not replacing your Nike suits because I warned you.
Yeah.
So
well, you learned, you got the sign off, and again, what doesn't what's the saying? How's the saying go? What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, right?
Yeah.
Is that true? I don't know.
I don't know. Makes my vocabulary stronger, that's for sure.
Okay. All right.
Words.
That's awesome. All right, Valerie. Well, let's kind of again, if folks have any questions or have any thoughts that want us to talk about or anything like that. But one of the things I always try to do is kind of leave people with at least one actionable tip. So what's the thing that maybe you could leave people with today that we want to turn a weakness into a strength? What should we be doing?
I think you shouldn't overanalyze it. Like, I have fought being a procrastinator. I'm the lady that packs the night before I'm leaving on a trip. Like, I'm horrible, and I know it. But and I've always been like, this is. I consciously know it's horrible, and but why am I fighting it? Why? I don't. So I don't think you should spend all your time dwelling on what you think your weakness is, because, well, I don't show up at the airport with 4 suitcases because I didn't overpack. Like, I pack what's clean. So it still has its advantage. And I don't know. And with jobs, I mean, I thought for a really long time, I have said, I'm an inexperienced. I don't know all the troubleshooting. I don't know the really like fancy ways to embroider. I'm learning. And I'm willing to work on it, and I do want to learn it. But sometimes I don't want to promote myself and put myself out there because I feel like I can't compete. At the same time, I'm not scared to try it. It might take me a little bit longer to work it out in my head how I want to do it, or I'm not going to give you a fast turnaround time because I want to give myself the chance to problem shoot it and actually run it and we'll tweak it.
Sure.
But yeah, I'll try. I mean, just like there's a lot of people that say Carhartt coats are horrible to embroider. I don't get it. Christmas, I embroidered Carhartt coats nonstop. I had never touched them before, and I Googled it. I was on every embroidery group you could imagine. I was like searching everything, and you have to have this hoop, and you have to do this, and I was like, well, I don't have time to order that, so we're just gonna go with it, and it was fine. So I don't think you always have to overanalyze. You know your strengths. Focus on your strengths. I think that's bigger. Focus on your strengths. And like, I'm a procrastinator, but I have to figure out how to spin it positive, which is I don't have the spoilage because I'm down to the wire. I have to make it work.
Work under pressure. There's nothing wrong with that. And
I usually work late at night when my kids are in bed. So therefore, and I could work all day when they're at school, but for whatever the reason I don't. But I don't have the interruptions. So that's another thing too. I've always been like, I shouldn't be such a night owl. I should get up in the morning and do things, which I don't know. I'm ready for my nap already.
Well, we'll get you to that nap here soon. So
like, why am I fighting it? I've been a night owl my entire life. Why am I fighting it? Just be productive at night, which is that's when I'm most productive. Yeah. So
all right. Well, Todd says at one time everyone thought the earth was flat because that's what the generations before them told them. So it definitely is interesting.
Yeah, just run with it. Like what I'm an overanalyzer, but I've tried really hard to just be like, it's not worth it. You're just making yourself crazy, and just do it. Just go with it.
Go with it. Okay. I love it. That's perfect advice. I think that's a great way to kind of wrap this up in that, it's okay to be who you are. I mean, it is who you are. And so the more you fight it, actually, probably the worse it's going to be. The more you can own it and understand what positives come out of it, then the better off you're going to be. Is that sum it up?
Yes. And I had just read a book, and it was talking about how, like, stop fighting it. If people are coming to you, they're coming to you for a reason. It's not by accident. If customers are seeking you out, it's because they have the faith in you. So have the faith in yourself that it's going to work. It's going to be okay. And there's a reason why they want you to help them with with whatever it is you offer. So
I agree 100%. And perfect information by you, Valerie. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Where can people find you? Website, you connect with you? Give us the pitch here.
This is where you're going to yell at me because
I'm not
procrastinator in me. I have a Facebook page. I've never done anything with it. Wait, I added a profile picture. That's all I've done. I'm horrible. So.
Well, we'll get that going. We'll get that going. Where is it? So if a whole bunch of people are over there contacting you, then you're going to have to do something with it, right?
Maybe. Yeah. So my Facebook page is Positive Threads Custom Designs. I really should have went with the shorter name, but that's it. There's nothing on there but my phone number. So I'm going to work on that. I have a long weekend.
All right. Well, hey, I got you up early here, so maybe before the nap you go and just save that.
Get ready for it.
Yeah, because that's one other thing that might be of value to folks, especially I see some other folks take my biggest takeaway, just go with it. I've learned I procrastinate. And Chuck says, don't be afraid to try. Another book that is very helpful, especially because I'm a get it done kind of guy, but I also am a procrastinate type of person as well. And so David Allen's book, Get Things Done, he talks about the fact that, sometimes maybe the best thing to do is, a case like the Facebook page, when you're thinking about it, just go do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just go do it. So he was talking about a consulting client that he was working with, talking about all these things he needed to do. And he said, okay, well, what's one thing that you've got to do? And the guy's like, oh, this blah, 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 this project. And he's like, okay, hang up the phone and go do that. And then call me back. And he's like, well, we're doing this right now. No, you need to get that project done. Just get it done. So there we go. We'll leave it with that. So Valerie, go change one thing on your Facebook page.
That's what, I was having coffee with a friend yesterday and she was asking me and I was like, she said, I'm going to share your page. And I go, I haven't done anything with it. You can't share it yet. Wait, I don't even have a picture posted on there. Like, give me a little bit. And so she said, well, by the end of the weekend, you better have it ready. So I'm going to start sharing stuff for you.
All right. Well, good. That wasn't me, because I would have grabbed your phone and said, okay, well, let's start putting some stuff on here. Real quick, before I let you go, Layla asked that you happen to know the name of the book that you referenced?
Yes. So the book is called The Middle Finger Project, and Christine over in Women in I'm going to mess it up.
Yeah, Women in Garment Decorating.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. She had recommended it a while ago, and so that's kind of just getting out of your own mind. And I like that book. I put it on audiobook, and it's amazing. And but yes, it had some really good value. And I think part of it is just the self-doubt. We all have it, but we can't thrive on it or let it negate everything. We have it. So you might as well just recognize that you're going to try to talk yourself out of something, but people came to you for a reason. So have as much faith in yourself, or at least half the faith in yourself that they have in you.
Yeah. I love it. That's perfect advice. Todd says, yes, you will. Just post pictures of everything you're doing. Super simple. There we go. If it was only that simple, right? I mean,
I know. And then I'm like, wait, is this a good enough picture? Wait, yeah, I overanalyze it. I'm like, oh, but these are pictures I did a while ago. Do I still post them? I know.
Yeah. Yes. Answer to that is yes. Okay.
Yes. Just do it.
Just do it. I love it. Oh, Valerie, you were so awesome. This was fun. Thank you so much. And great information, wonderful information. Any parting words that you want to leave people with, or should we just call it a morning?
I think just call it a morning. Yeah. Just do it. It's your business. Yeah. Not to be the Nike person. Nope. But yeah. Trust yourself. And if it doesn't feel right, there's two reasons. Either it doesn't feel right, like this scares me to death because it's out of your comfort zone, or it doesn't feel right because it's not what you should be doing. Yeah. So yeah. And just listen to that.
Good. All right. I said that we call it, but Todd did put one other thing in here. So I wanted to give you forewarning. He says, I'm setting alarms to check in with you and your page all weekend long. Better see pictures.
I might have to block Todd for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the problem with these things. Unfortunately, we put these things out there, and then people like Todd are sitting there. Yeah, he pushed me to a few things a while back too. So, but that's a good thing, right? It is.
Yeah. You need people that challenge you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Awesome, Valerie. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Just take care of that Facebook thing and then enjoy the rest of your weekend. How about that?
All right. Thank you. You too.
All right. Cool. It was so awesome to talk to Valerie. Amazing. I'm proud to know her. I'm proud to be able to get a chance to talk to her, and really love what she's doing. And she's going to do great things. Thank you guys so much for your time this morning and the wonderful comments and interactions there. And we will catch up with you guys again soon. Let's see here, make sure I've got everything covered. Next thing really coming up is going to be Tuesdays with Todd. I believe that's at 4 o'clock. Todd, if I'm wrong, let me know, but 4 o'clock on Tuesday. And he's going to be talking about, Facebook Shops. That's right, Facebook Shops. So check that out. And then on Wednesday for OSG members, and you can become a member right up there at oursuccessgroup.com. and join Valerie and the other amazing folks that we have over there. We're going to be wrapping up the 5 keys of business planning, talking about some forecasting and budgets and things like that. So, but you can go back and get all the stuff before that and whatnot. So again, just sign up to be a member right up there at oursuccessgroup.com. And then one last note here before I go, just a reminder for folks that the Success Tracker is up and it's available and it's ready and waiting for you. So if you've got some time this weekend, jump in there and post your goal and become part of the Success Tracker. We've got some people jumping into that, and we want you to be a part of that program as well. And if you are a member, you should have gotten an email with the follow-up to the last one that also had the way to get that at a discounted price. So again, check that out right down there, oursuccessgroup.com/ST. And thanks everybody again for joining us, and have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thanks to all of the veterans that came before us and gave us an opportunity to live in a free country. And so thanks to for their sacrifices. So enjoy a nice weekend if you've got that happening in your area. And I think that'll do it for today. Thanks everybody. We will talk to you again soon.